I cannot tell you how proud I am of Gustavo Petro, President Gustavo Petro of Colombia. Because, the United States is shipping the undocumented workers that cross the border to all these different countries across the world, well, specifically Latin America. And he expects these governments to just have these planes land and take it. Well, Colombia, who has been accepting, I think they accepted over 400 flights over the last administration, etc. But because of the inhumanity in which Donald Trump is treating the undocumented workers and folks that they're sending back to these countries, he decided to take a stance and forbade I think it was C-1, I don't know, some large planes with undocumented workers to land in Colombia. He said, no, you will not land these planes here until you have an organized, humane method in which you will treat undocumented workers. Well, you know what? It turns out that Donald Trump decided that because of what Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, has done, he is going to slap a 25% tariff on all goods coming from Colombia. And if this doesn't change within a week, he's going to throw another 25%, meaning a 50% tariff on Colombia. Well, of course, Gustavo Petro returns and he says, well, you know what? You throw a 25% tariff on products going from the United States from going to Colombia into the United States. Guess what we will do, Mr. President? We will also throw a tariff, an equivalent tariff of all products coming into Colombia. Now, my question to you is this. China and the BRICS countries have been making inroads all over Latin America and around the world. They have been saying, you know what? We know how the United States under Trump is bullying and how folks would be bullying, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they decided that, they don't care. So I want you guys to think about this. Who is this tariff going to hurt? Because remember, a tariff on a country isn't paid for by the country. The tariff is paid for by the consumers in that country. So Americans are going to pay more if this tariff remains in effect. They will pay more for bananas. They will pay more for coffee. They will pay more for yuca. They will pay more for all these products coming from Colombia. Remember, Colombia is near the equator. In other words, Colombia has a growing season year round. And what do you think is going to happen to all those products that we use in the winter, to all those products that we import, the bananas, the peanuts, all these things that we get from these tropical countries? They're going to go up in price. So here's my contention here. Donald Trump has threatened Mexico with tariffs. Mexico has prevented the planes from landing there as well. They have threatened Canada with tariffs. They have threatened Colombia with tariff, or any other country that decides that they are not going to abide by the United States rule. Let me just read a little piece from, I think this is the AP, right? It says, from Bogota, Colombia. The United States and Colombia long close partnership in anti-narcotics efforts clashed Sunday over the deportation of migrants and imposed tariffs on each other's goods in a show of what countries could face if they intervene in the Trump administration crackdown on illegal immigration. President Donald Trump and Gustavo Petro, in a series of social media posts, defended their views on immigration, with the latter accusing Trump of not treating immigrants with dignity during deportation and announcing a retaliatory 25% increase in Colombian tariffs on U.S. goods. Earlier, the U.S. president has ordered visa restrictions, 25% tariffs on all Colombian incoming goods, which would be raised to 50% in 1 week, and other retaliatory measures sparked by Petro's decision to reject 2 Colombian-bound U.S. military aircraft carrying migrants. Trump said the measure were necessary because Petro's decision jeopardized national security in the United States. That's a lie. These immigrants are not a security threat to the United States. But he wants to do that to impose some sort of emergency measures, but it won't work. These measures are just the beginning, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regards to acceptance and return of the criminals they force into the United States. They don't have to take these people back. Earlier Sunday, Petro and his government would not accept flights carrying migrants deported in the U.S. until the Trump administration creates a protocol that treats them with dignity. Petro made the announcement in 2 X posts, one of which included a new video of migrants reportedly deported to Brazil walking on a tarmac with restraints on their hands and feet. A migrant is not a criminal and must be treated with the dignity that a human being deserves, Petro said. That is why I returned the U.S. military planes that were carrying Colombian migrants. In civilian planes, without being treated like criminals, we will receive our fellow citizens. After Trump's announcement, Petro said in a post on X that he had ordered the foreign trade minister to raise import tariffs from the U.S. by 25%. Now, again, I repeat, folks, who do you think is going to pay the biggest price for what Donald Trump is doing? It's not going to be Colombia. I guarantee you that. It will be the American people. And as he goes country after country trying to bully them, if these countries stick to their guns and stay together and let Donald Trump put a tariff on them, it will bring down Donald Trump's government faster than anything any progressive could do in America. Because again, remember, this world is interdependent. And to sit back and believe that somehow America can stand alone, that somehow America have in its best interest to just bully around, America, or specifically Donald Trump, will learn a lesson rather quickly. So I have a message to all the other countries in the world. Don't be bullied. If you all stand together, remember, we, the United States, are only 4.5% of the population, which gives the rest of the world 95.5% of the population. Allow no country to bully you. No country should allow another country to bully them, especially on false pretexts. The immigrants are not a burden on the United States. Immigrants are not a security risk to the United States. This is hogwash from a president that has been proven to be a xenophobe, a racist, a sexist, a misogynist, and one who a judge has accused of raping women, and one who has been convicted of tax fraud and over and over done many things illegal. We should not allow ourselves to fall for the con. We must never allow ourselves to fall for the con. Donald Trump is a crook. Donald Trump is a bully. And the rest of the world, instead of cowering to him, should hold him accountable. He cannot blow up the entire world. And even if he tried, it'll hurt America just as much, if not worse, than the rest of the world. Because remember, in America, folks have been soft and used to a certain level of comfort. They don't know the suffering of Central America. They don't know the suffering of South America. They don't know the suffering of the Palestinians. They don't know suffering at all, except for certain segments within the American population. They do not know suffering. And that is what the rest of the world can bring to Donald Trump to ensure that he acts like a human being and not like I don't want to use the word that he represents.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.